First of all, guys, how's it going?
It's going great. Very happy to be in Amsterdam.
Okay. For my first question, I'd like to start in the beginning. Andrew and Kev, you were in, if I pronounce it correctly, Cherbourg.
Yeah, that's right.
We were, yeah.
When did you meet? When did you meet Joe?
Cherbourg, this guy right here.
This guy.
We were in.
He's not. Are you? How did he get?
I don't. Am I not supposed to?
Yeah, Joey.
I've seen him before.
We met Joey through mutual friends, basically, about 3 years ago. We were looking for like a sort of third guy to. We wanted to find somebody that was a kind of multi-instrumentalist that could play lots of different things. And that's how we kind of we just met him through friends and started playing music together.
And Joe, had you heard them play?
No. If I had, this story would have taken a very no. No, I hadn't. I didn't really know them. I knew that Kev was kind of part of the whole communion thing, which I'd been to a couple of times. But it was the first time I met them properly. So, but yeah, it just. I mean, I felt like we kind of instantly clicked, and I guess luckily they felt the same way. So it's kind of like.
I didn't.
No. Should I just?
When did you notice this click? Was it at the very first meeting, just talking to each other? Was it with playing?
I think it was. I think it was literally the first time. I think because you came over with an electric guitar and a bass guitar, right?
Yeah.
And you just picked up. You kind of played a bit on both, and I remember thinking that the stuff you were doing on electric was really interesting. And this was before we even had a banjo. That was before that, so it was just. It was just really nice to see someone thinking in the same way we were, just kind of, how can I make this better? I'm not precious about what it was they were doing, just how can I make it better? And Joey is really, really good at that. So.
And well, this might be a difficult question to answer then, but what were you looking for? What would make it better? What kind of thing would make what you were looking for better?
I think it's like it's more of a personality thing. I mean, I think you can kind of you can learn an instrument, but you can't learn how to be a kind of creative, like it's very difficult to learn how to be a good guy and know that you're going to be able to tour together and know that you're going to be able to work really on like a really close, quite, weird level with each other. And yeah, I think we just kind of realized quite quickly it was just Joey gets it. And to define that is really difficult, but I don't think I really want to. But it's like, it's just good.
And after meeting each other, then how long did it take before your first gig together?
It's quite a while, I think, wasn't it? A few months. We spent a lot of time just sort of working things out, didn't we? And like trying different like varieties of instrumentation and. Little rehearsals and stuff like that. It was probably about 4 months, I reckon.
Yeah, it was. It did feel. I don't know. It did feel to me like that Austin to Boston tour we did was like the first time where it felt like it gelled in a certain way, which kind of made us like felt like a bit like that's when we became a band. Maybe we did our first American tour.
The week before that, I was going to play piano, we hadn't worked out what
we knew we wanted to work at your parents' place, didn't we? We went to Kev's parents' place and we should sing harmony, like so many things just we weren't originally going to do, and then we were like, hey, let's try harmonies, and then went to Kev's parents' place and just sat there with a guitar doing harmonies for a week, and
it was on that tour that I picked up a banjo for the first time as well.
Exactly.
So that tour was kind of a bit of a birth of the band kind of vibe.
So I assume this was the first time it was just the three of you on the road then in that kind of context?
Yeah, it was,
yeah.
Okay, and what then, you said you had a click right from the start. What did you discover about each other then that you didn't know?
On the tour, or?
Yeah, just because that was the moment you kind of solidified, as you said, with the harmony, with the banjo, so...
I think we've just had a lot of those moments. I think. I mean, it's a bit cheesy, but like there's been a lot of times where I can think of specific moments, whether it's doing harmonies at your parents' place or playing guitar and banjo with you in the van, or like that first time we played Pompeii in New York, and we just have these moments, and you're like, there's something, like we've all been in bands before, but we've never experienced that before. I think that's something, you know, I really wish I could define it, but I just can't. It's just like chemistry. It's like, oh, this really fits. Everyone knows what they're supposed to be doing, and we're all thinking about the same thing, maybe?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think part of it can be an audience reaction as well.
Yeah.
Sometimes
people
like,
actually like
when
it.
when you're playing something that you know that no one's ever heard before, and you still see that there's an instant kind of gut reaction from a crowd, and that kind of gives you, that's such a kind of magical feeling, I guess, because you feel like, yeah, that you're really connecting with someone over something that you've made, and then in the process of playing it to someone, that's kind of when the magic happens.
Yeah.
Do you remember what the first song was that the three of you worked on? What was it, one that ended up on the album?
Because before we met, you guys sent over a couple of demos, and Elysium was definitely
Yeah, it was.
on one of those songs.
Yeah.
So that would have been one of the first songs that we tried, but it took a while. Yeah, it took a long time before we started playing it.
Yeah.
Why?
It's partly because we really wanted to hear trumpets on it,
Yeah.
and we need to find someone that could play
I
trumpet.
mean, we tried playing the trumpet.
So it's taken us 2.5 years of touring to be able to even think about having someone else on board to play trumpet. But yeah, that's so true. We've just always thought this has to have horns. This has to be a big moment. And yeah, now luckily we've got some friends helping us out with that stuff live, which is great. But yeah, it's that's why it took so long, isn't it?
Yeah.
Is it often the case then, when you start writing a song, that you already have somewhat of an idea in mind of what it should sound like?
I think it varies. I think when we work on things, I think Kev and Joey are very good at sort of hearing. I don't think I'm very good at hearing exactly where it could go. I think these guys are really amazing, and I'd be really lost without them, because I think they can kind of imagine things a lot better than I can, and they just know how things are going to ebb and flow, and how to take it from my tiny little world into like being a different thing, which is kind of amazing. So,
Do you start then with the lyrics and then later add the music?
yeah, kind of, like at least some lyrics, and then if it sort of feels like it's not going anywhere, I'll probably just go, okay, we'll leave that for now. But then sometimes I'm sort of writing while we're rehearsing and things like that. So
Would you then talk with them about the lyrics, what they mean for?
no way. That would be too difficult. No way, I couldn't do that. I think with us it's always about everyone having their own interpretation as well, and being able to sort of put themselves in
But
it.
I think that's kind of what music should be about as well, isn't it? If Bob Dylan sat down and explained every song to you, this line, like it would lose a lot of its potency, I think, and a lot of its power. I think that the beauty of, you know, whether it's poetry or lyrics or art, is that it doesn't just exist by itself. It has to be consumed or perceived by someone to have any sort of meaning. And so I think, yeah, I wouldn't want Davie to explain what every single line in the song is about. I'll often get a broad sense of what it's about, but then some lines will speak very directly to me about, you know, something that's going on in my life, or some sort of perspective that I have that Davie maybe hasn't thought about at all. And for him to then go like, no, that's not about that at all, would then ruin a part of the meaning of that song for me.
I think we've even done that whenever we've tried to even remotely talk about it. You're like, no, I totally thought you were saying something else. I'm kind of pissed off that we even spoke about it.
Yeah.
So whenever anyone asks us, what's that song about? It's like, it's about whatever you want it to be about. It's like, it's so important that it's like that.
But in that sense, and Davie, for you, do songs change in meaning because you hear other people talking about it?
Yeah, definitely. Well, I mean, yes, they do. I think the Elysium song, for example, having a music video for that just totally changed that song completely for me. In a way, it opened my eyes to it it's a song we've had around for a really long time, but as soon as someone else injected their own images to it, you're like, whoa, like that's just insane. Like it really hit me like just so hard how he got all that out of that song. So yeah,
But also I think the meaning of the songs can change over time as well. Like, you know, we've been playing some of these songs for a few years, and what a certain song meant to me like 2 years ago, I have a completely different read on it now. And I think it's lovely to have that relationship that's changing, you know, and I'm sure, you know, I'll listen back to stuff we did now in 5 or 10 years' time and have a different relationship with it again, you know, and I think that's a lovely thing as a band member, to be able to constantly have this flux of interpretation.
Keep stuff fresh.
Yeah, I was going to ask. So, do you think that's necessary then, in a sense, if you want to be able to play them after a couple of years?
I think it definitely helps massively. Yeah, I think you see some bands who obviously are playing one of their big hits, and you can kind of tell they've played this thousands of times, and they're kind of going through the motions. And you would ideally hope to not end up in a obviously,
no hits.
No hits.
We don't want hits. Yeah.
No, but if we were lucky enough to get a hit, you would hope that it would be something that we would be able to keep fresh. Although I realise that saying that we haven't played probably any of our songs thousands of times yet, so I might be speaking from a position of ignorance and arrogance there.